what I want to try to do tonight is give you something that I pray and I hope will stick inside of your brain for the rest of your life. And I'm going to give you something that is going to flare up your ego's defense mechanisms a little bit, but I want you to promise me, are you willing to suspend any of the ego stuff that comes up, of any of the that's not me, any of the I would never do that, any of the I'm way more perfect than what he's describing. So as we kick this off, I want you just to think about the one thing that you are ashamed of, the one thing maybe you hate yourself for it the most. You don't need to say it, you don't need to type it in. And what if I told you that carrying the shame or guilt about that makes you a bad person? And that shame is not morality. It's cowardice. It's absolute cowardice. And if you keep clutching onto it, people are not going to get a gut feeling to trust you. You're not going to be followed easily unless you fake it for the rest of your life. And you're never going to be free. This might sting a little bit, but if you don't walk away changed tonight, I have failed. So let me first tell you a trick that your brain is playing on you probably right now, if you're willing to admit it. And some people aren't ready for that, and that's okay. But it convinces you that guilt or shame equal I'm a good person. It equals goodness. So I feel terrible, therefore I must care. I must be a decent person if I feel like shit about this thing that I did. That's a lie. That's absolutely, completely false. Guilt is what I will call masturbation of the ego. It keeps you the center of your own pity party, and you can kind of replay that little loop. You rob everyone around you of a stable leader or a present parent. If you've ever thought like holding on makes me better, then I will issue you a huge congratulations here. That thought is why people don't trust you, and you've just uncovered it. And here's the number one thing I want you to write down right now. If any of this has touched you, or like, oh shit, that hurt a little bit, write this down, please. I am using pain as a disguise for virtue. So if you could kind of picture this in your mind, like just form a mental image of this. Your best friend comes to you today. Your best friend shows up and is like, hey, I've got to confess something. They confess the thing that you're holding against yourself. They say the same thing that you're holding back and pretending not to have. Would you forgive your friend? So why don't you forgive you? Drama is easier than discipline. Guilt is super comfortable. It's predictable. Forgiveness demands change. So here's the paradox right here. And this is the true paradox with all of this stuff. You think that holding guilt makes you good, but it just makes you selfish. You get addicted to the feeling of shame because it becomes a little identity. I'm ashamed of that. That makes me a good person because I have good morals and good values. Shame is safer than stepping into authority. The authority triangle, if you've studied that in NCI, says that confidence, composure, and discipline are the big tripwires for power in life, and to have power in your life, not over others, power. People respect power, and that's, you get over others because you have power over yourself. But shame is the complete hydrochloric acid that you're dumping on all three of those things. You cannot be in composure. You can't be composed while you're bracing against an old memory. You can't be confident while your inner monologue is saying, I'm not worthy of this, or I don't deserve this stuff. And you can't have discipline in your life when your energy goes into hiding skeletons.